Hey guys, today we're going to start talking about the coordinate grid and graphing points. But let's start out with this basic grid and talk about some of our quadrants and our different things. Let's start with the first part, which is going to be right here in the middle. Hopefully you know what that's called. That's called the origin. And the ordered pair for the origin is 0, 0. You're always going to start at the origin. So if you notice, we have our x-axis, and you should be labeling this on your paper, and the y-axis. So I hope you remember how to graph. You're always going to graph on the x-axis first, and then on the y. So you're either going to go left or right, and then you're going to go up or down. I always say you have to drive to the fire first, and then put the ladder up. Some people say you have to crawl before you walk. Whatever helps you remember to always do the x-axis before you do the y-axis. So right here we have quadrant 1, and we're going to label them with Roman numerals, and that'll just help you to remember which quadrant's which. So like quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So quadrant 4 is IV, V is 5, and when the 1 is in front of it, or the I or whatever, it's 1 less than that, so that makes it 4. So let's talk about quadrant 1. Quadrant 1 is going to be your numbers that are positive, positive, because you're going to come to the right and then you're going to come up. So it's going to be positive, positive. Quadrant 2, you're going to go left, so that's negative, and then positive because you're going to go up. Quadrant 3, you're going to go to the left, so it is negative. Then you're going to go down, so it is negative as well. So these are talking about your ordered pairs, what number your ordered pairs if they're going to be positive or negative, because we're going to be graphing in all 4 quadrants. Quadrant 4 is going to be positive and then negative, because you're going to start out coming to the right and then coming down. The way I always remember the order of the quadrants is because it's a coordinate grid, so it makes a C. So do you see how starting in quadrant 1, coming around to quadrant 4, it makes a C. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 makes a C. Make sure you have all of that filled in on your paper. Now we're going to start labeling some points. So let's kind of go through some of these. So let's think about point A. What quadrant is point A? So you're always going to start at the origin. And you're going to go, for this one, you're going to go to the left, which is -6. And then you're going to go up to 4. So we're going to label this -6, 4. Now let's think about what quadrant it is. Remember, this one's quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So it would be in quadrant 2 because it is negative, positive. Let's look at B. You're going to come over to 8 because you're always going to do your X before your Y. So that would be 8, 10, and you always write your ordered pairs with the 2 numbers and a comma in parentheses on either side. And when you write it, you always put your X, comma, Y, always. So let's talk about C. C is on the axis. Oh, sorry, we didn't label B. B is in quadrant 1. So C is actually on the axis. So you don't say that it's in a quadrant. You would just say it's on the x-axis. So you're going to come over 4, and your Y would be 0 because you're not going up or down. So go ahead and try and label E, F, and D, and let's see how you do. Okay, let's check D. It is +8, -9, because you're coming down. Again, quadrant 4. E is on the y-axis. So again, -8. Ooh, that's wrong, actually. Let's fix that. Because on the x-axis, it is 0, -8. So this one's on the y-axis, 0, -8. So the x coordinate was 0. So F, we have -7, -4. In quadrant 3, both negative. Make sure you have that all filled in on your paper. So now we're going to practice plotting some of these points. If you see at the top of your paper, it's got some different points that I want you to label. So I'm going to go ahead and EF. We're going to label them G, H, I, J, K, L, and M, just so we can kind of keep it organized. So let's start with G. What quadrant's G going to be in? -4, 7. So -4 is going to go to the left and then +7. So it's going to end up in quadrant 2. Let's relabel those so we make sure we have it. 3 and 4. So G is going to be -4, +7. We're going to label that G, -4, 7. Okay, H, 0, 13. So let's think about this. Is this going to be on the x-axis or the y-axis? Well, the x value is 0, so we can relabel those two. So x value is 0, so it's going to be on the y-axis. Up here at +13, that's going to be H, 0, 13. Then let's do I at 11, -4. So it's going to come down here in quadrant 4. And that's going to be I, and that is 11, -4. Go ahead and try labeling the next points and come back to the video to check. Okay, so hopefully you've done J, K, L, and M. So for J, we have -9, -12. It's going to be down here, -9, -12, down in quadrant 3. And that's going to be J. K is -10, 0, so that's going to be on the x-axis. -10, 0, and that's K. Okay, let's find L. Oh, that's an easy one. That's your origin, L, 0, 0. Make sure you remember that word, origin. So the next one is +5, +9. I'm going to label that right there. 5, 9, and that's M, and that is in quadrant 1. So make sure you have all those labeled incorrect, and you can start your practice.